Round 2 of the BNT V8's at Bruce McLaren Motorsport Park in Taupo, and it was wins for Andre Heimgartner, the Kiwi, and the Aussie teammate Jason Bargwanna. And history in the making as Chelsea Herbert became the first female to win a race in the V8's in a New Zealand touring car. In round 3 of the BNT V8's headed for a sensational summer in the South Island, starting with Christchurch, the Garden City, home of Mike Perot Motorsport, of course the famous track of Ruapuna. Taking a look at the action with all the threes is our V8 racer, Brad Lathrope.
Well, thanks to that, Clint, and here's looking at the data for Ruapuna Raceway. It's a total track length of 3.3 kilometres with a total of 12 turns and a top speed of around about 235 kilometres an hour, and the outright lap record held by Andre Heimgartner with the 125.103.
And he's second in the championship going into round 3.
So far, this is one of the more technical ones. Obviously, Taupo's got a few technical sections, but it's pretty high speed as well. But this has a bit of everything. You've got turning, braking zones, you've got high speed zones, you've got that small, slow speed, complex stuff. So it's chucking it all at us, and especially with the weather here, it's going to be interesting. 2 weekends in a row, I suppose it's good you don't get to go away and forget half of it. So to be able to build on it 2 weekends in a row is really positive, and yeah, really looking forward to going down south.
And the man who leads the championship is the Bathurst winner, the 44-year-old Aussie, Jason Bargwanna, goes in with a 24-point lead.
Yeah, look, the good thing about New Zealand circuits, you do get a good variety. Obviously, you've got the shorter circuits, the high-speed Pukekohe's and obviously down at Invercargill, and then the technical circuits here, Taupo, that sort of thing. So, look, it's a good little circuit, actually. I really enjoy it. It reminds me a bit of Winton. You really have to be hard on your apexes and not overdrive the car here, and then you can go fast. Yeah, look, it's one of those things, this championship, because the points are so close between all the cars, and it's only 6 rounds, you've really just got to focus on getting as many points as you can, just trying to win races and win rounds. Because if you try and start building a championship, there's just not enough points around to think about that. So at the end of the day, you go out there to try and just get the job done.
And the man who's certainly getting the job done in Class 2, the man who's got that need for speed, is the 20-year-old Southlander, Liam McDonald, who leads his championship after a dominant performance in Taupo and again here last year.
Yeah, back to home on the tracks in the South Island, Ruapuna, then Kirwhanga next weekend. Really looking forward to Ruapuna this weekend. You just have to make sure the weather gods come into play and let the sun shine, yeah. Yeah, very technical track, a lot of infield work and a big straight to end it off, and yeah, it's quite a cool track indeed, yeah.
And the rookie racer to watch out for is the 38-year-old from Rolleston in Canterbury and the number 11 digger Ford Falcon, Justin Ashwell.
It is technical, so you do have to learn it and pick it up pretty quick. So it's a little bit of advantage for us knowing that, but yeah, we'll see how the weekend pans out. It's a learning experience again for us, just following on from what we were trying to do with our 2 rounds last year. So banking points is the number 1 key for us, especially in tracks that we don't know, again, when we go back north to Manfield and Hampton Downs.
Hey guys, John McIntyre here at Ruapuna for the Flow. For me, after quite a few hundred, maybe 1,000 laps here at Ruapuna, for me, the most important part of the track is the exit of the hairpin to the exit of the carousel. You get that right, you're onto a good number. And that's the flow at Ruapuna.
In the battle for pole position, the guys who took the checks in Class 2 was the championship leader Liam McDonald, and 3 in a row in Class 1 for Andre Heimgartner. Now the race starts for the checkered flag.
Hey guys, how's it going? Brad Lathrope here from the BNT V8's. Welcome to the latest edition of the Gulf Force 10 Tech Talk. Today we're going to be talking about the power plants, also known as the engines of the car. What we have in here is a LS7 Chevy engine. It's a 6.8 litre and it puts out around about 500 horsepower and around about 690 Newton meters of torque, which you got to hold on, it's pretty exciting. Some of the other Class 1 vehicles that we've got running, we've got the Nissan and the Toyotas. They have 5 litre quad cam V8s. They rev a little bit higher than what my engine does, but due to class regulations and parity, we've been able to make it nice and even. And the rest of the Holdens that run in the Class 1 class, they also have LS3 or LS7 engines. So in the BNT V8s, we're also made up of Class 2 vehicles, and I just so happen to have a driver with me, Brock Templey. How you going, mate?
Good, and yourself?
Not too bad. So can you tell us about the power plant you've got in your car?
Yep, so right here we've got a 5 litre V8, 302 Windsor motor, putting out approximately 420 horsepower. These motors are rev limited to 6,400 RPM, which keeps it nice and even for everyone, and there are no advantages or disadvantages while we're racing.
And from Tech Talk with Brad, let's take a look at the grid talk, and it's all about the 22-year-old Kiwi setting the pace out in front. Andre Heimgartner leading the challenge of his teammate in the 2 Toyota Camrys on pole, alongside Nick Ross in the front row of the grid in Class 1. Liam McDonald leading the battle in Class 2. Rolling start in the sunshine here at Mike Pirro Motorsport Park. Down that big, long straight, 800 metres, and Brad Lathrope, what a fantastic showdown here in the first corner.
Oh, it's awesome. You know, as soon as the lights go out and you get the opportunity to put the foot down and get the power going. What's going on there?
Straight away, we've got 2 off into the grass at Flexiplast Turn 1. Andre Heimgartner, the leader, on pole, the pace setter, and he's just gone straight onto the grass.
He's definitely got his work cut out for him now. He's going to have to really, really try to catch back up to the front guys.
So that's handed the advantage to his Camry teammate and the Tony Richards Toyota of Jason Bargwanna. Good battle there between Nick Ross and also Jack Smith in the other Holden Commodore alongside Lance Hughes and the red Commodore. So the Class 1 battle, gee, what a turn-up for the books.
It's definitely looking pretty good. Should be interesting to watch how Jack goes with Nick and if they can have a battle for the whole race or if he can try and pull away and catch up to Bargs.
So 84 was the Hamilton Asphalt's man of Lance Hughes, who's backing the young guy in front of him. That's number 85, which is the 18-year-old from the Gold Coast. He's, Jack Smith, welcome to New Zealand, mate. Racing around these tracks for the first time. He's the young Australian who's taken out the V8 touring car title, which is a bit like Class 3 in Australia, learning these tracks and getting some great seat time. Andre Heimgartner, he's really making up for his first corner mistake, charging back through the field now. Getting in front of the Class 2 cars. So what, he just overcook it going into Turn 1?
Definitely looks a little bit that way. Definitely he was side by side with Bargs going into Turn 1 and he may have just pinched a brake or not slowed down quite enough and quite didn't get the turn in for the corner and ended up in the grass.
One of the fantastic parts of this track here at Mike Pirro Motorsport Park, of course, is that big long straight going into that fast number Turn 1 into the famous Turn 2, the icon pothole there. Can't go wide there. If you do go wide, you run the risk of getting onto the grass and straight in towards the tyre wall. Now you're down to the short straight into the Euromark hairpin. And this is that part that Johnny Mack was talking about. It's all about the flow, this tight technical part of the track.
Oh, exactly, Clint. And just like Johnny Mack was saying, if you do end up breaking your flow, that affects you into the next corner. And from the hairpin all the way through to the carousel just there, if you do muck up one corner, that's that whole section of track that you just quite haven't got right. And then you're struggling for the remainder of the lap to get that time back.
So it's all about not overdriving the car, which can be, I suppose, one of the key things with, say, for example, the Class 2 cars, because they've got the smaller tyres. As we go on board with Andre Heimgartner in Class 1. Oh, Lance Hughes just losing it coming out of the rock sweeper as we were enjoying that beautiful sound of the V8 Camry.
It's definitely a bit exciting corner to get a bit sideways and messy. I've had the fortunate circumstance of spinning myself out there before, and it definitely, when you've got a car right behind you, it's pretty exciting.
Jack Smith having a look down the inside of Nick Ross, so it's Commodore side by side with the Nissan. Now they race towards Turn 2. Oh, a little bit of a touch. In fact, that's not a little bit of a touch. He's just completely sent him off the track onto the grass, and luckily for Ross, he avoids the old tyre wall. So I think Jack Smith's going to be in a bit of a problem with the judiciary there, taking out Nick Ross.
Definitely not where you want to have it coming together. That's quite a high-speed corner, and definitely going into pothole turn 2, like you said earlier, you don't want to run wide there, let alone have someone on the inside trying to push you wide. So it'll be interesting to see the outcome of that from the officials' point of view.
So drama already. Andre Heimgartner, remember? Oh, he's copped a false start, so he's got a penalty. So that's going to be more drama here. So A, he cops a false start. B, he misses the first corner. Now he's racing back through the field. So, gee, it's all turned to custard for Heimgartner.
Definitely a man on a charge, though. It'll be interesting to see where he finishes up.
Bit wide coming out of the sweep, and now tightens up in the apex.
Just the sound of that 5-litre quad cam V8, it's got such a nice pitch to it going down the front straight.
Certainly has, and this is Matt Tubbs in the jump flex Ford Falcon. He's had a bit of problems maintaining his lines into and out of turn 1, both in qualifying and practice. We'll see how he goes. He's a rookie racer out of Hamilton, got the trampoline business, and just loves having a crack at the V8. So exactly what the class needs. Guys, giving it a go. Let's see how he goes this time into turn 1 as he whips down the inside. Oh, he's lost it. This has certainly been his corner for the entire weekend. That's unfortunate for Matt Tubbs out of Hamilton. Brings out the Lexus safety car. Now the restart. So that's good news for Andre Heimgartner, because she's had a bad race right up until now. So now they've had the regroup, the restart, and a chance to catch up. So it's still Bargs out in front, followed by Heimgartner. Jack Smith. He may cop a drive-through penalty because of taking out Nick Ross. So everything's about to change. Lance Hughes back out on track after his early spin. Look at the two teammates. How close are they, Brad?
Oh, that's awesome, and that's what the class is all about. You really want to be able to see that nice, close door-to-door racing, but without the contact.
So you got a 44-year-old Aussie in the Tiger Camry and a 22-year-old Kiwi in the Superlux Camry. And of course, Camrys took out the NASCAR title this year with Martin Truex Jr. So Toyota certainly doing a lot in regards to developing their road cars from what they learned in their race cars. The old adage, you win on Sunday and sell on Monday.
Just like the good old days.
Yeah, it hasn't changed, but Toyota do have a commitment to actually developing better road cars from what they learn in both track racing and also rallies like the Yaris's and the WRC. So certainly putting on a great performance at the moment. The two teammates from the Tony Richards stable out of Thames. And it's great for Andre Heimgartner, because remember, he's going to be racing in the supercars with Nissan, and now he's getting a real lesson on how to race these V8s from a former V8 racer and a supercar driver in Jason Bargwanna. Oh, one of them's gone wide. Jack Smith, no, he's gone into the pits. And this will be the drive-through penalty for his contact with Nick Ross.
Slightly unfortunate for him there. He had some great pace in this race, and it was good to see him hanging on the back of Andre and Bargs.
All down the inside, contact between the two teammates. Wow, that was unexpected, because Andre just hit the curb and then got into the side of Bargs, or was that just a racing incident? How would you describe that?
I'm just going to call that a racing incident, but that's definitely what it looks like if you're just going to throw it down the inside of someone.
So I tell you what, they may be teammates, but it'll be interesting team talk after this particular race. Gee, we've had some changing fortunes. And Andre Heimgartner, would you believe it, after starting on pole, having a muck-up on the first corner, copping a false start, is actually back out in the lead, racing towards the checkered flag. Go figure.
It's just awesome, and it just shows, how far he's come with his career from when he started to where he is now, and the level of racing and competitiveness that you need to be at to be a top runner in this class over in New Zealand. It's just awesome.
And also, I suppose it's that level of controlled aggression that he's probably developing now as he heads towards the supercars with Nissan. Of that, sometimes he would have been bullied by other drivers with more experience, but now he's prepared to give it a go and take on the other drivers and really push himself.
Oh, no doubt. You definitely have to go through your rookie seasons and kind of get pushed around or bullied, so to speak. But, he's definitely held his own, and he's without doubt holding his own now, and it's going to be really interesting to see him this season in supercars with Nissan Motorsport.
So the last lap for Andre Heimgartner. This is going in towards turn 1. See how he gets that flow through the apex and then power down into turn 2, the Icon pothole.
Great to see the level of commitment by Andre there. That's really, really good.
And all the drivers have been told this weekend that you can't actually run 4 wheels wide at turn 2, otherwise you run the risk of going onto the grass. We've already seen what happened with Nick Ross, who's back up to 3rd now after his contact with Jack Smith. The problem here for Heimgartner, Brad, is that he's got that 10-second penalty for jumping the start. So even though he's going to take the checkered flag, he will be relegated back down to 3rd place.
Slightly unfortunate. He's done an amazing job to get back up and be leading the race, but yeah, just trying to get a 10-second gap in 1 lap is near impossible.
So Jason Bargwanna sitting in 2nd spot. He's just going to maintain that lead in the championship. Remember, he started this round 3 of the BNT V8's with a 24-point advantage over Andre Heimgartner. The race coming into the rock sweeper. So it's going to be Heimgartner, Bargs, and then Nick Ross, Lance Hughes. So Andre Heimgartner, what a dramatic start to the weekend for him. He'll take the checkered flag, then cop the penalty in up 3rd. So the win will go towards Bargs, and Nick Ross will be elevated up into the top 2 spots. So a real change in fortunes and a real classic battle between the 2 teammates in Class 1, which will continue right throughout the weekend. Now in Class 2, real turn up for the books here. What another great moment for Chelsea Herbert in the MTF Ford Falcon. She's on target to pick up her 2nd win in the V8s and create more history. Isn't that cool?
Oh, it's awesome, and really, really well done to Chelsea and her team. That car is always well presented, and it's awesome to see them really battling for the wins now.
So confirming the results from race 1 of the BNT V8s, it's Bargs, Ross and Heimgartner, 1st, 2nd and 3rd in Class 1. Herbert, McDonald and Justin Ashwell, 1st, 2nd and 3rd in Class 2. And rounding out the field, Bruce Ferdin from Nelson, who built the gearboxes for Class 1.
Look, I mean, obviously it was an interesting race, wasn't it? We come onto the straight there, and with Andre on pole, I looked down and we're doing nearly 120 k's an hour. I know we're supposed to be doing 80, so almost 40 k's over the speed limit. I thought was going to land him in hot water, but so we got onto it down to the first corner. There was mistakes and cars going everywhere. I popped out in the lead, and it was looking pretty good until the safety car came. And you know, Andre had a crack, and he's put a dent in both the cars, which is a bit disappointing for the team. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I knew he was in trouble from that race start.
Yeah, I wasn't using my rear vision mirror, and I was just going for it because I know as soon as I'd look there, either Liam would be there or he wouldn't, and that would muck with my mental race. So yeah, we just kept our head down and kept going, and Dad was just telling me how many laps to go each time I went past. So yeah, I mean, Liam's been quick all year, so to be beating Liam is really good, and for championship points, that's really positive for us.
And from the battles in the class to the battle of the countries and the battle of the Aussie and the Kiwi.
Overarm. Get over it.
That. Underarm, isn't it? Aussies. Ruapuna.
Really? I like the place, but definitely Bathurst. I don't know.
I think we both hold it.
I think we both got one. Cool. High five that one.
Yes, a couple of years ago, Andre set the lap record in a Super Tour on the same day the Bug set a lap record in the TLX Camry. Stick around, coming up, who gets the high five for race 2? Welcome back to the BNT V8s, and it's great to see the Aussie teenager, Jack Smith, getting some seat time in the number 85 Holden Commodore.
Hey everyone, it's Jack Smith here. I'm from the Gold Coast in Australia, and I'm over here in New Zealand competing with Lance Hughes' 2-car team in the BNT V8s. We're over here, it's given us a great opportunity to get some quality mileage over the off-season in Australia. And yeah, really looking forward to what has to come.
And it's great that Lance Hughes has given the young Australian star a chance to get some seat time in his old Commodore. And of course, the V8 Touring Car champion now racing here in the BNT V8s, getting some of those cars out of the sheds and onto the track, and that's what it's all about in the BNT V8s as we get set for race number 2 with Heimgardner, Bargs and Ross setting the pace alongside Smith and Hughes, and Tubbs in Class 1, Brock Tipperley, Ashwell setting the scene with the reverse grid showdown in Class 2. Their speed looks a bit better here, Brad.
Yeah, it does. It definitely looks like they're holding the right pace for this one.
Here they go, though. The racing lights are on as they spread out down the straight. In Class 1, oh, 3 wide. Jack Smith turning up. He's really going for... Oh, Ross down the inside, and he takes it the side of Bargs. It's all on, and they haven't even got to the first corner.
It's definitely a bit of excitement coming into turn 1. It's not really what you want to see with a few slower cars behind you. Could have been a bit of damage there, but thankfully everyone got through safely.
Brock Tipperley's made a good start, holding on to his advantage in the reverse grid showdown for Class 2. Oh!
Just as your commentator's curse, he's gone wide.
And they were always warned about, turn 2. McDonald, he's making up for lost time from race 1. Herbert's in there. Good battle with Justin Ashwell further back down the infield, but out in front. Gee, talk about red mist. So explain to someone exactly what that red mist is. We go on board here with Nick Ross, just straight onto the curb, straight into the side of Bargs.
Yeah, well, red mist is a bit of a terminology used for some drivers when on-track incidents happen, and unfortunately it's just, if you get a little bit angry and the red in your eyes comes out and you make some silly moves. It's also like the age-old saying, as soon as the helmet goes on, the brain goes out the ears.
So this is looking back from Nick Ross, and you can see it wasn't even red mist, it was just the red Commodore giving away. It's the second time this weekend their car's just got a bit loose.
You do have to be quite cautious with the Class 1 cars. They have got quite an immense amount of power, and if you just squeeze the throttle on a little bit too much before you're in the right part of the corner, it'll just snap round on you. Beautiful
hot sunny day here. Race day Sunday. Brock Tipperley on board with the Class 2 Ford Falcon, being helped with Johnny McIntyre, former New Zealand champion of the V8s, mentoring him out of the Mazda Pro 7 Series, being hunted down by Chelsea Herbert. And it's great to have a guy like Johnny Mack who's going to be in your ears. And as a race driver, what do you want from your race engineer while you're in the hot seat and you're in the business mode? What do you need from them to be actually sort of talking to you about?
Everyone's got their own different plan of attack. Personally, myself, I don't like too much chatter. I like to try and focus on the driving. However, if there's an incident that's happened in front of me, I'd like to know before I get round a corner. Definitely just nice, calm and positive attitude, and just a lot of reassurance that I'm doing the right thing, even though I may not be sometimes.
May not be a big field this year, but it certainly is a quality field as we take a look at the class leaders. Don't forget Bargs and McDonald leading the championship coming into here, round 3 at the Mike Perro Motorsport Park. Racing at Ruapuna. He completely dominated this class last year. He was the fastest in all of the practice qualifying sessions and a clean sweep in the race, and really took control of the championship, Liam McDonald. Of course, the South Island boy from Southland. But here's a great scrap once again. Small but quality racing, close racing in Class 1 between the Aussie, or 2 Aussies and 1 Kiwi.
Got a little bit of a Kiwi sandwich with the Aussie in front and behind there.
And of course, he's going to be racing the Aussies as well. So, and it's good that we've got guys racing in Australia now. We've got Aussies racing in New Zealand. Isn't that a great way to go?
Oh, exactly. It's awesome, It's a pretty big jump financially for Kiwis to get over and race in Aussie, but to have the Aussies coming over and getting some driving experience with us, just for some training and off-season racing, it's really cool, and hopefully we can get a few more Kiwi boys up over in the supercars.
See how they just line up that curb coming into turn 2, onto the brakes. It's going to be a big day, hot day today. Track conditions getting up to around about over 40 degrees. Oh, Smith running wide and gets into the side of Heimgardner, who actually ran wide himself.
Yeah, he did. It looks like he just pinched the brakes coming into the corner there. He ended up going a little bit wide. He's tried to save it, and unfortunately, turning back into the corner, he's had Jack Smith there.
So we're just talking about the heat in the track. How will that affect the tyres and also the brakes?
In regards to the tyres, it definitely depends on when the driver would like the tyres to come on. Engineers can set them up to come on bang straight away, so you can try and get a bit of a run and then hold that for the rest of the race, or whether they wanted the car and the tyres to come on halfway through the race and be able to carry some good pace through to the end. So it'll just be depending on what they want. At the moment, I'd say they're all pretty much on the on the same idea, and they've probably just all gone firing straight out of the gate.
And of course, the other question is who's actually banked some new tyres or slapped on some green tyres, or who's using sort of like an older set, and in particular which race.
Definitely green tyres, without a doubt, there's always a massive advantage. And the way these guys are all grouped up at the moment, I'd say they probably have left the greens for the race 3. That's the strategy that most times we tend to run with. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see what happens as the race progresses and if any of the cars drop off pace.
Great battle out in front between a couple of Aussie champions, a Bathurst champ from 2000, Jason Bargwanna, a real Aussie character, a great guy, colourful guy. Actually, he's been just bought a trucking company, so he's been like a courier driver over Christmas. And right behind him, you've got the V8 touring car, that was sort of like their class 3 of the supercars in Aussie, in Jack Smith. So you've got a young Aussie teenager, a very experienced campaigner, one on a Camry, one on a Holden, doing a great job here. One for the, well, about heaps of times around Ruapuna, and young Jack Smith just learning the track and doing a great job.
It's great to see young Jack. He's, as you say, he's learning the track, and he's definitely got some wicked pace in this race. Hopefully he can stick it out through the whole race and get an opportunity to stick his nose down the inside of Bargs and make a real race of it.
And of course shadowing the man that's got the lap record here at Mike Pirro Motorsport in the TLX cars. Trying to make a move down the inside, Smith. Oh, Bargs blocks him off, and contact. And the two Aussies have taken themselves out.
It's definitely not what you want to see. That could be quite interesting as the officials' outlook on that. And Jack did quite well, actually, to miss Bargs as he went off. Oh, no, unfortunately, looks like Jack's got a bit of an issue himself.
So Bargs moves over and virtually almost takes Smith out of the racing line, then loses it. I wonder if there was contact from behind here. Certainly contact on the side, and both of them off the tarmac, onto the green stuff, and that's a big no-no.
Yeah, definitely a bit exciting. Not really what you want to see. It's unfortunate. Hopefully they can get both cars back out on the track and finish the race.
So on board Andre Heimgartner, this is what the Kiwi saw of the two Aussies. He goes, oh, turn it up, thanks very much. Taking each other out, and I'm just going to take the lead.
Oh, it's just like winning the lottery, mate. Just waking up in the morning and you found you got the winning ticket. Good job.
Oh dear, how sad, never mind. That's what Andre Heimgartner's thinking. Yes, a little bit of contact just right there, as Bargs closed the door on young Jack Smith.
Unfortunately, looks like they've just had a slight contact, and it's in the rear left hand of the car, and at speeds like that, you don't need much of a tap to be able to have something like that happen. Very unfortunate.
But it's what the fans sometimes come to see when you're racing in the BNT V8. Spectacular stuff. So last lap, and talk about the changing fortunes of Andre Heimgartner, all the drama from race 1, and then it's been handed to him here in race 2.
Oh, exactly, and it's also really, really good to see Nick Ross. He's having a good run this weekend so far, and he's definitely showing that he's got some good pace, and he's not too far off Andre here, so it's really awesome to see Nick having a good weekend as well.
It's also going to be a change in the championship, because it's going to be a DNF for Jason Bargwanna. That means that this man here, the 22-year-old Kiwi, is going to race past his teammate, number 97, the Tiger Building Camry, stuck on the wall. And it means that now Andre Heimgartner in the 71 Superlux Camry V8 and the Tony Richards Toyota will take the checkered flag and take the lead in the BNT V8s. What a change in the championship and a change in the fortunes. Nick Ross totally happy coming home in second, that someone hasn't taken him out. And now the battle for Class 2. Liam McDonald first, Chelsea Herbert second, Timperley up there in third.
It's great to see Timperley in his rookie season. He's definitely not far off the front runners, and watch that kid in the future, because he's definitely got a good career. And it's great to see that Chelsea's applying a lot of pressure into Liam here. It's really good. Hopefully she can get a bit of run on him, but we'll just wait and see.
A 20-year-old down in front, been hunted down by an 18-year-old and a 23-year-old. So young guns of the future. Class 2, Liam McDonald, the championship leader, extends his lead, being chased all the way by Herbert and Timperley and Justin Ashwell, the rookie racer from Canterbury, Rolleston, doing a great job getting out of the Super 6s into the V8. So confirming the results from race 2, Andre Heimgartner takes the win and the lead in the championship. Ross and Smith coming home in second and third, followed by Matt Tubbs, McDonald, Herbert and Timperley, your top 3 in the second class.
Yeah, it was an interesting race there, lots of action, lots of passing. And yeah, as you said, sort of changed around quite a lot there at the end. And this championship is so short, and there's only 5 or 6 cars that you really can't afford to have a DNF. So it's a different way of racing, but really good. Really enjoyed it and glad to pick up the win.
the start of the race, we didn't quite have the pace. They pulled a bit of a gap, and I was actually struggling with Nick behind me. But yeah, towards the end of the race, we found some pace, or they lost some pace, and we caught up to them and managed to get past Andre, but obviously didn't end so well with Bargs. But yeah.
I thought we had it covered. I could protect the line for that last lap or so, and we would be fine. But yeah, I got hit by my teammate yesterday, and now the fellow Aussie's just turned me into the fence. So I'm not sure. All the damage is on the rear of my car. I saw him coming. I protected the line, but he just decided to drive into an ever-diminishing hole. So young blokes, what do you do?
I tell you what you do, Bugs, to get your experience racing in Class 2.
Yeah, very hot today compared to yesterday. Real hot in the car, and the temperature definitely brought it to us. And after every lap, you keep going a bit slower and slower as the tyres keep going off, and they get because of the temperature. Yeah.
It's pretty hot now compared to yesterday, so the car was set up maybe slightly off, so we're going to work on that now. But yeah, Dad said push because there's only 3 more laps, so I was really trying to get him under brakes because that's where I was strongest, but just didn't quite have the turn in to be able to pull anything off, so good job to Liam.
Brock here from the Erosion Patrol Ford Falcon. We've got some great racing here at Ruapuna this weekend. Hope you stay tuned after the break for race 3 of the BNT V8's.
Great support from the MTF team getting behind Chelsea Herbert, picking up her first win in the V8s, but could she beat a fan in a simulator race?
Pretty exciting. I mean, first ever female to win a New Zealand touring car race. Now I'm going to see if I'm the first ever female to win a MTF simulator race. So we'll see if I can make history twice.
She seems pretty good in a race car. I've never driven a race car before, but yeah, it'll be interesting.
Well, it was so close, guys. You did really well. But I have to say, our very own Chelsea took it out today.
Team MTF!
Well done.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Great stuff and a lot of fun too, so make sure you check out your chance to go simulator racing when you come trackside for the BNT V8s. Hot stuff as we wrap up round 3 with race 3 at Mike Perot Motorsport Park, and it's McDonald, Herbert and Ashwell Timperley leading off Class 2. And ironically, that DNF will actually play into the hands of Jason Bargwanna as he gets the pole position for the start in race 3. Standing start, remember. And the Class 1 cars reversed. Oh, Jack Smith! What's he done?
Got the world's greatest start.
He's gone with the Class 2 cars.
That's slightly unfortunate, although he wouldn't be used to that over in Australia, obviously. They don't quite have split grids over there. When the lights go out, you just start racing.
So he's actually stopped further back down the track and realised he's made a mistake. So you see, look, there he is. He said, oh no, I've completely jumped the start. So remember, the Class 2 cars go first, and Herbert under real pressure here as they race through turn 2, the icon pothole with Brock Tipperley right on her tail. Now the Class 1 goes. This is when Jack Smith should have been racing alongside the likes of Bargs, Hughes, Ross, Tubbs and Andre Heimgartner, even though he started right at the rear of the grid. Look at the speed he's got. He's gathered up half the field by the time they go around turn 1.
A little bit exciting through turn 1 there. Some close racing, but everyone got through unscathed. It's pretty good.
Nick Ross, he's had some few moments going in and out of turn 1 so far this weekend. Great shot on board the ripples from one side to the other side of turn 2. As you ride those ripples. And the ripples here are a little bit forgiving around Ruapuna?
Yeah, no, not really. Some places they can be forgiving, but through the centre part from the hairpin through to the carousel, they're actually quite large and quite pointy. So you want to try your best to stay off them. I've destroyed a tyre or 2 on them, unfortunately, before.
Tyre wear in race 3. We understand that Heimgartner slapped on some green tyres. So he'll try and charge up from the rear of the grid. Remember, he's taken the lead in the championship after the disappointment, the DNF. You've got to love Bargs. I mean, every time there's a mistake, they always blame the other driver, don't they? Is that the way to do it?
Yeah, it can be. There's most drivers will never take the blame on themselves, and I'm a parent to that. I've done that a couple of times here and there, but no, there's always 2 sides to the story. It just depends on who you talk to first.
So you'd love to be a fly on the wall sometimes when they have to go up against the race stewards and the teams from Motorsport New Zealand when they hear one side from the driver's point of view than the other side, and they try and make the right decision.
Sometimes it does take quite a while of discussing to be able to make a decision whether that's the correct one or not, but hey, you know, that's all up to them, and that's out of us as drivers' hands. As long as we've got footage, we can give that to the officials, and whatever happens, happens.
Yes, they've always got onboard footage to back up the protests, about the protests.
Oh, it's really quite cool there to see Jack. Unfortunately, he definitely looks like he's got some great pace at the moment, but he just left at the wrong time, and he's trying to make quick work of the Class 2 cars, but unfortunately he shouldn't quite be that far up.
So because he's completely jumped the start, what he's got to do here basically is just go for it, because he's going to get a time penalty anyway, so he may as well just try and get as far in front as he can to, you know, to limit the damage.
Yeah, exactly. Cut your losses. So he's definitely made a mistake from going at the wrong time. He's obviously understood that and accepts that. But now, exactly like you say, most likely he's going to end up getting a time penalty. How large that is yet to be seen. But he just has to knuckle down, put his head forward and just keep going and see if he can hold on for it.
So in many ways, this is going to be like a good testing practice session for him.
Oh, exactly. As you can kind of see with that view just there, as he's coming onto the front straight, he hasn't got any Class 1 cars around him, so he's really just got to try and do qualifying laps, lap after lap, which could be quite difficult.
It was dead set funny, though. I've never seen that before. The old lights go green, he takes off. But mind you, you've done that at the traffic lights every once in a while, haven't you?
Yeah, maybe.
Well, you know, you just get a little bit distraction. I suppose one of the key things is that mental toughness is also maintaining the focus behind the wheel.
Oh, exactly. That's a big part of it that I've found with myself over the last few seasons, and I think Chelsea mentioned that earlier on in the show as well, is the mental side of racing, which actually is a very large part of it, and if you're lacking in that area, it can end up quite bad.
So a great scrap here with the Class 2 cars. We're on board Chelsea Herbert in the MTF Ford Falcon. This is not a simulator race. This is the real thing.
No, and it's great to see these front three so close, having a good battle here. This is the third and final race of the week, and it's a 12-lap race, so I'd say most of them have probably put a green set of tyres on, and they're just trying to get out in front of Liam or get to the front of the race and just pull away.
And great that you can actually, from that shot, get an idea of how you give each other racing room, but you also shadow each other. You're so close, one tap on the brakes, and you've got to trust the other driver in front that they're going so fast that he's not going to have a mistake, and you're going to tail up the rear.
Oh, exactly. Having trust and faith in the drivers.
Oh, like that!
Oh, just as we say that. Slightly unfortunate there. That
little tap.
Yeah, probably going to get investigated there later on, but that's all right.
Now, whether or not he just slightly lost it and just she was so close to him, not intentional, of course, just one of those racing incidents, I think.
Oh, exactly, and that is as we were just discussing, part of it. You know, you have to have a lot of faith in the drivers and the cars that are around you, that you can race very, very close without having too much contact. That, once again, just a racing incident, and looks like it was unfortunately just in the wrong part of the corner where the car's a little bit unweighted.
Down into the braking, into the Euromark hairpin, 3.33 kilometres. Mike Pirro Motorsport, 28 degrees, 36 degrees, heading up towards 40. So it's hot stuff. Hard on the brakes, hard on the tyres. It's like a mobile sauna for these drivers at the moment as the Class 1 cars start to race through the field and take over the lead from the Class 2 cars. There goes Bargs. And it's all the sevens. Bargs in 97, Ross in 007. And it's Heimgartner in 71. And of course, Liam McDonald doing the right thing by just moving over and letting the Class 1 boys go. So they've got their own races. He's going to dominate Class 2 from Herbert. And then Justin Ashwell, the local Canterbury boy, the rookie racer.
Can get a little bit busy when we have in the Class 2 cars and you have the Class 1 boys catching up on you. Obviously, they are quicker and you want to let them through as quickly as you can so that everyone can continue with your own races. But Liam did the right thing there. He held on until he was in a safe position to let the cars through, and he didn't actually lose much time to Chelsea with that.
Great battle here between the teammates as Heimgartner gets the draft and makes a big move from a smoking Nick Ross. Doesn't look that comfortable on the old the Nissan there.
No, it doesn't. It's putting off. It could have been a bit of tyre smoke, but it seems like he's still got a bit of smoke coming out of it down the straight in between turns 1 and 2.
He's had some real pace so far as Andre Heimgartner, of course, won the battle for pole. He's been right up there in the action, won the first race, then got demoted back to third, took the second race after the Aussies took each other out, And now he's got his teammate lined up again in race 3. And they've had a couple of great battles so far. And I love the way, they're great mates and, of course, teammates with Tony Richards' Toyota off the track. But on the track, there's no love lost, and that's the way it should be.
Oh, exactly. At the end of the day, they're both competitive people. You're both out there to win a race, and, your friend's off the track, but whatever happens on the track, as long as it stays on the track, it's all good.
Remember that Barnes has won the V8 Championship before. Nick Ross has won the V8 Championship before, but Andre Heimgartner hasn't won the V8 Championship, and he would love to take out this title as he heads into the supercars for Nissan later on this year. So that's the reason why you've got a great scrap, letting it drift out wide, and Nick Ross says, I'll have a piece of this as well.
Oh, he's riding on the action here, and he could definitely, he could end up pipping both of them if the cards fall into his hands.
Last lap, close racing, sensational. BNT V8's rubbing his racing, bit of a touch from Barnes and Heimgartner. Is that payback or what?
Oh, it could be. I don't know. They're definitely racing pretty hard, but I'd say Bargs probably has in the back of his mind he'd like to get one back on his mate.
Well, he slapped on those greenies, Heimgartner. He's come from third, and he's taken the lead at the right time last lap. Remember, he's grabbed the lead in the championship. This is going to be more frustration for Bargs as Nick Ross, even though he's smoking, he's managing to hold on here. Talking about smoking, drama for Jack Smith. Looks like he's got a real problem with that Holden Commodore. So he's jumped the start, and now he won't even finish the race.
That's really unfortunate. Jack was showing some great pace this weekend and was definitely starting to get the hang of the car.
On board Liam McDonald, it doesn't sound good. This could be another change in the championship because you've got McDonald down the inside, and you're on board Chelsea Herbert and Justin Ashwell, and there they go.
Oh, that's just heartbreaking. That's just heartbreaking.
I wonder if he's got fuel issues, which they had at Taupo too. So, well, another turn up there in Class 2 as he slides it wide. I love that slide and the glide around these tracks and these V8s. And there it is. What a sight. The no longer Speedy Signs Ford Falcon of the 69, Liam McDonald, pulling over to the side of the racetrack right at the sweeper on the last lap. Go figure.
That's just unfortunate. That's just bad luck, unfortunate.
But I tell you what, this guy's had a lucky break. He's made his own luck, and he takes the win in race 3 of the BNT V8s. Dramatic turnaround, Andre Heimgartner, and he'll actually extend his lead now in the championship. Chelsea Herbert, she's copped a penalty for contact with car 59.
30-second penalty is a pretty big one, so she's done great to be able to hold where she is in the track position and take the checkered flag first, but just unfortunate luck for her with that racing incident earlier with car number 59.
But it's going to be a lucky break for the number 11 Ford Falcon, the digger man. That is Justin Ashwell, the hometown racer. He'll get a breakthrough win in the BNT V8s in his first season as a rookie. So it's Heimgartner who takes the win in the Class 1 cars. Justin Ashwell gets the win in a dramatic showdown in Class 2.
Yeah, it's good races. Another action-packed race. Was pretty tight at the top there for a while as well, which was good. And had to pass some cars to sort of get out the front. So yeah, awesome race. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, look, back to back, that's good. We also are still learning the car. So for us, we started at the back because we've done so much componentry work on our car. So we were chasing them all weekend, and we finally managed to put something together in the end, which gives us confidence at the next weekend, really.
So in the championship now, after 3 rounds, Andre Heimgartner takes the lead by 44 points from Jason Bargwanna, his teammate. So a big turnaround in Class 1. And in Class 2, great weekend for Chelsea Herbert. She's closed the gap on the class leader, Liam McDonald. As we head to round 4 of the BNT V8s, an exciting showdown, one of the great corners to watch out for, the sweeper at Teratonga. But the last word this weekend goes to the local man from Canterbury, who leaves us as a winner, Justin Ashwell.
G'day, this is Justin from Christchurch here. Last word is, I hope everyone enjoyed the weekend because our team did. Thank you, have a good one.